Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, Moving Beyond QuickBooks with Advanced Reporting. I'm Bob Shaga with Sage, and I thank you for choosing to spend time with us today. Our agenda today is this. First, we'll look at all the types of reports that growing companies need. Then we'll look at signs that you've outgrown QuickBooks reporting. I'll share with you a real-life example of a QuickBooks user who moved to Sage Intacct. I'll show you a demonstration of Sage Intacct reporting. Then I'll share with you the reporting benefits you can expect using Sage Intacct. And lastly, we'll answer your questions and let you know where you can find out more. Let's get started. At Sage Intacct, we hear from our growth customers that they're hyper-focused on metrics. One customer strategy is to take a 5-5-5 metrics approach. First, determine the top 5 metrics that matter most to the organization. Then for each of those, create 5 metrics that roll up, and then track 5 additional metrics for each of those. This gives them 5 Tier 1 metrics, 25 Tier 2 metrics, and 125 Tier 3 metrics. Only an advanced reporting system creates the structure and data necessary to achieve this. Metrics aren't one size fits all, but derived from flexible tools to fit the business. For example, one of our customers, a family-owned real estate investment firm, monitors assets under management, cash on cash, notes payable, and net income period to date, with Tier 2 and Tier 3 metrics for each. Your key metrics might include these and others, both financial and operational, that help business leaders track the health of your organization. Other metrics might include expenses, budget versus actual, current consolidated cash, days sales outstanding, gap adjustments, notes payable, revenue per employee, or employee turnover. If you're a QuickBooks user, I'm sure you're thinking, there's no way I can do that. That's a lot of spreadsheets. And you're right, if you're using QuickBooks. But forward-looking finance leaders are data-driven, so they can help map out the direction of their organizations based on the opportunities or issues that the data uncovers. As a QuickBooks user, chances are you provide information to the rest of the management team as requested or on an ad hoc basis. What happens is that you and your team get inundated with requests, especially if the company is growing or looking at a new strategy for growth. Today, your reporting requires a lot of manual processes, and that means your reporting takes days or sometimes weeks to complete. Your filtering in QuickBooks is limited to the chart of accounts and class, so you're exporting a lot of data to spreadsheets so you can analyze that information. These spreadsheets are error-prone, especially when doing consolidations or eliminations, and you have no visibility into the company's future cash position. So, for data-hungry organizations, it's obvious that QuickBooks can't give you the up-to-date information you need across an array of metrics and dimensions to make data-driven decisions. With QuickBooks, you lack the up-to-the-minute visibility you need and other business leaders want to drive the business strategy. Let's take the example of Acquia, an open-source digital experience company that formerly used QuickBooks. Sage Intacct serves as Acquia's single source of financial truth and automates forecasts for billing, cash, and revenue, enabling the business to better manage its 1,600 contracts. Acquia leverages Sage Intacct's dimensional reporting to slice and dice revenue and expense data by product, region, customer, contract, employee, and other dimensions. With these capabilities, the finance team can more quickly get budget to actuals information to business leaders for review, usually by the 5th day of the month, and then provide validated numbers to the CFO by day 11. This insight helped the organization accelerate operational cash flow by 10% and gain the confidence to make better informed decisions about investments for the future. In the words of Acquia's revenue controller, Brett Belcastro, Sage Intacct's reporting brings predictability to our revenue and ensures accurate visibility for management. They can now make better informed decisions that increase customer lifetime value, reduce churn, and help us effectively compete in the market. Belcastro says the improved visibility has tightened his cash forecasting model by 80%, so the company knows whether it's well-positioned to invest and expand in new markets and regions, pursue potential acquisition targets, relocate offices around the globe, adjust pricing models, or increase its investment in key products that will be easier to sell and boost customer lifetime value. Isn't this the place you want to be, where finance gives the executive team what they need when they need it, helping to guide the business? I'm certain that's why you're here today. So let's look at how we provide the visibility you need. In this demo environment, we've got a multi-entity company. This example company works with security systems, but it could be any kind of company like services, software, healthcare, and so on. Let me point out some of the general items on this screen. First of all, I have 4 entities, and this shows in some of the reporting that goes into the different locations. By looking at this button that says top level, I know I'm at the top level right now. I can drop into any of these companies from here. What you're seeing right now at the top level is the consolidated view of the financials across all of these entities. I have a real-time view of assets, revenue, net income, and expenses. I could create other performance cards like this. Each of these performance cards shows a summation of an account group. For example, in the case of asset, I've taken all the asset accounts and created a summary of these accounts for the current month. Underneath the summary, I can see a comparison of prior month, giving me a performance trend at a glance. I can see that assets have gone up. This is a good thing. Revenue and net income have gone up as well. Also expenses, but that's not necessarily a great thing. But it isn't a worry if it stays in line with growth. We also have the ability to look at charts and graphs, like those on my dashboard. I can create additional charts and graphs and add them to the dashboard. My reports show amounts that I can drill down into right from the dashboard. Now I can break down and filter that information to take a deeper dive into the company's financials. Again, this is from the top level. I'm able to look across all the companies and across all the entities within the company and analyze information for all those entities. Here with assets, we're looking at a summary of accounts. You'll notice that it changes color when I roll over it. I can click on that and drill down into all the accounts that make up the summary. I can further drill down on these accounts and see the transactions creating the account value. I can see all the general ledger journal entries. With just a few clicks, I get to source information behind the summaries. We also have the ability to roll over charts and drill down on reports. For instance, on this bar graph, as I roll over Texas, I can see the amount behind the bar. I can also see the amount behind Maine, California, and Florida. The same with any of these charts. I can also expand any of these charts. These reports and charts aren't limited to the library of pre-built reports. Using built-in reporting tools, you can edit or create your own financial reports that slice and dice information from the general ledger. You can also create your own transactional reports that span related data tables using the Sage Intacct Interactive Custom Report Writer. This example of an interactive report in the report writer is looking at live data to show me exactly what I'm getting as I build it. You can do advanced analysis, including trends and pivot tables, without making a trip to Excel. In addition to drill down and expansion, we have this concept of dimensions. The way I break down net income by location here is an example of dimensions. Each location is a dimension tracked in the system. Item is also a dimension, and this allows me to look at revenue by item. In fact, I could break down revenue by any available dimension. If this were a services company, I might choose to look at revenue per employee or revenue per project and that sort of thing. In addition to dimensions, another way we break down information is by statistical accounts. A statistical account keeps track of non-financial information, like headcount or floor space or hours. In this case, we have revenue per retail hour by location. Now, revenue per retail hour shows a calculation using a statistical account called retail hours and a financial account, revenue. The retail hours statistical account collects retail hours in Texas, Maine, California, and Florida, and then I break down the revenue for each location by the number of retail hours for the location to get an amount that we see when we roll over Texas. When we capture the operational information right inside the system, we're able to use it more robustly without turning to external spreadsheets. As we've discussed, data can keep your organization on the right path. Sage Intacct provides built-in tools to display up-to-the-minute data, and you can drill down on reports and dashboards to get to the source. With more than 100 built-in reports, we make it easy to get started. You can create your own reports from scratch or duplicate and edit existing reports. You can also build dashboards to meet the needs of roles and activities within your organization. By applying dimensions, you can mix and match information, for example, sales order by location and customer. Visibility and security go hand in hand. That's why reporting comes with granular permissions, allowing an administrator to grant access only when and where it's needed. You can choose to allow access to everyone, limit it to certain user groups, or give individual permission to key people. As we wrap up, let me touch on the changing role of the finance executive. Nearly every finance executive we've spoken with says their role has changed over the past few years. More finance professionals are facing new demands to provide overall business counsel, and that's difficult to do if you can't look forward or back with clarity. Nearly all financial decision makers we speak with believe that financial management technology can help businesses discover new opportunities and risks. And when it comes to making a change, 80% of our customers say they wish they had switched to Sage Intacct sooner. I invite you to reach out to us and learn more about how we can help you bring more to the table. Now to some questions. Here's one. What dimensions are available for reporting? Well, built-in dimensions include location, department, vendor, customer, employee, item, and class, usually renamed to something else. Additional built-in dimensions come along with certain modules, such as project and task with the projects module, contracts with the contracts module, and warehouse with the inventory module. You can also add user-defined dimensions to meet your company's needs. Many not-for-profit organizations add grant and fund as dimensions to meet their reporting and tracking needs. Another question. How do reporting and dashboards handle multiple entities and charts of accounts? So this is one of the major differences you'll find in Sage Intacct as compared with QuickBooks. Rather than opening a new instance every time you want to look at the data, in Sage Intacct, all the data from various entities is visible in a single top-level instance, a roll-up instance, if you will, which gives you up-to-the-minute reporting across the organization. Instead of having to export data into spreadsheets to build reports across the organization, it's all available within Sage Intacct from any level within your entity hierarchy. I should mention all the reporting, dimensions, and dashboards are available anytime, anywhere, as it's a browser-based system. Of course, the access is secure. Compare that with building out complex spreadsheets and then putting them in a shared folder. So if you have multiple entities, Sage Intacct is really a no-brainer compared with what you got to put up with when you're using QuickBooks. I've got a couple of questions about cost, and I'm not going to get into specific cost here because it's really based on your company needs. I will point out that most of our customers see a payback on their investment in around 7 months. On our website, we list case studies of customer after customer seeing returns on investment far exceeding the cost of the software. Okay, another question. What other business applications can be connected for reporting? Well, if you want to export data to like a BI application or even Excel, you can do that. But why not pull the financial and operational data into Sage Intacct so you have a consolidated view in one place? I know that application integration isn't something that QuickBooks does well, so you're relying on reporting outside of QuickBooks to see what's going on. But why not get a full view of all your financials in a single source of truth? This is going to make your life a lot easier.